All right, we're back. So now we can do part two, which is the observation of our cultures. It's been more than 2 days for me because I saw a lot of growth on the lettuce plate, but I wasn't seeing growth on the milk plate. So I wanted to give it a little more time to see if something grew, but I'm not seeing a ton of growth. So I probably could have done my results after just 2 days, like it said. But it does say, so in step 22, observe the culture plates after 48 hours for microbial growth. If no colonies are observed, incubate for an additional 24 hours. So if you're not seeing anything after 3 days, you can probably do your results. I gave it 4 days and it doesn't look any different than from the second day. All right, so now we are at step 23. Wipe down your work area with 10% bleach solution. So I'm gonna use my bleach and wipe down my table. And I suggest doing this before you're looking at your plates. All right, so step 24 is wash your hands thoroughly with soap and warm water. All right, I've washed my hands. So now we're at step 25. Put on your goggles, a new pair of gloves, your face mask, and your apron. All right, so I have my goggles, gloves, face mask, and apron on. So now we're at step 26. Gather the 2 incubated auger plates. So here are my plates. Step 27 is observe each of the sections without removing the lid. Count the number of different colony types present in each section and record your data in data table 1. All right, so on the wash side, I'm seeing one type of bacteria here and something else that's growing here. But that's the only 2 types of colonies that I see forming. And then for the unwashed, I see this yellow stuff that's growing, and then this cloudy stuff that was also growing over here, and then these all look like the same type as this, but there are some really small things growing, so that might be a 4th type. Because I do see these larger ones, but I'm also seeing these punctiform type of colonies growing. And then let's turn it over to see if, oh, so you're not supposed to open your plate, and if you have this condensation, you're not going to be able to see. So this is the best we can see. So I'm thinking there's 2 in the wash side and 4 on the unwashed side. So now we'll look at our milk plate. So I'm not really seeing much growing. I'm not sure if it's just the streak pattern or something's actually growing, but so right in here, I actually, I had poured these plates fresh, and it dug into the auger a little bit because even though it had solidified, you know, like the plates that I have been using have been in the fridge, so they were more solid than this plate was. And so I accidentally like kind of scraped into the auger when I swiped it. And you can see the swab patterns, and it does look like something's growing on the fresh side but not on the open side. So I don't know really how to explain that, but I'm not even sure if this is actually something growing. Let's see. No, you can't. Well, you can kind of see on the sides. It does look a little white, so there probably is something growing. But on the open side, to me, it just looks like the remnants of where the swab had scraped the auger. I'm going to say I have one type in the fresh side and nothing growing on the open side, which is not at all what I would have expected. But I'm glad to know that, like, I'm not seeing much growing. Like, it doesn't seem to matter if you opened it or not. But at the same time, it was stored in my fridge the whole time and I didn't use it. If you had opened milk, you would be like opening it and using it and closing it and putting it back in the fridge. So I think that might have been a more interesting experiment. So I'm also curious what you guys will observe. Oh, and then we're supposed to count the total number of colonies. So step 28 is count the total number of colonies in each section and record that in data table 1. So that might be a little difficult for these like punctiform, these really, really tiny colonies, but I will try. And so a method of doing this is just to put a dot with a ultrafine tip Sharpie on each colony as you count it so that you don't double count or miscount any. So I'll do that really fast and then I'll go over that with you. So I couldn't necessarily see my entire plate because of the writing, but there's an obvious trend that there's way more colonies on this side than this side. And then I didn't quite know what to do for where individual colonies aren't growing. So this would produce individual colonies. It's just that they're it's so concentrated that it's just like one big streak. And so I just counted those as one. So the same thing for these. So on the wash side, I only counted 6 colonies, and then on the unwashed side, I counted 44 colonies. And your results will definitely vary. And then for the milk, I'm just gonna say 0 on the open side and 1 on the fresh side because I see like a cloudiness in the streak on this side, but not on this side. I just see like the streak pattern, which is like from the fibers of the cotton swab scraping the auger surface. So now we are at step 29. Take a photo of your developed plates and insert the image into photo 1. And then we're ready for cleanup.